Hey everyone, Mr. Clutch here, going to walk through today's recap for Monday's action on SPY and QQQ. Going to do things a little bit different today and walk through this a little bit more in depth on a few things. We've just been kind of looking at trend lines and 2-minute plays grouped in hindsight, where you could have taken a trend line break and things like that. But I really want to kind of differentiate the two today and find the best moves on both sides. So let's get right into it and look at this here. So I already got the zones marked. I've also kind of marked the pre-market high and the pre-market low. Now this was a crazy wick here in the pre-market, so I marked it, but I really thought this was kind of where our pre-market low was. We had some stuff back here below it that with almost no volume, but as things started heating up into the morning, we were able to start seeing a downtrend here. Flagged back here. You could have tried to maybe take it out of the open, but we opened right here. This flag had already broke, but it was pinned under the 13. It could have been a nice little move there. But I like to let this one, this wait here, and then this one here flagged right back to that level. It was closing underneath it, couldn't break through it. We've got 3 wicks through the 13. Even with the 200 right below here, I still like this play as that can't get through as we start coming down off the 13 here and through the 200. I think you can get in and catch a really good move on that right there. So once we come down, we're kind of basing here into the other pre-market low, so it definitely was a spot to watch there. We come back up and reclaim the 13 here. And you're kind of watching this here, and as soon as this starts coming back down through the 13, because we're still in a downtrend here, right? So we're looking for a pullback to the 13. It claimed it, but it didn't even get close to the 48. It starts breaking down. I think you can catch that and write it down. And then you're still thinking, okay, lower low, lower low, lower low. You're still thinking, okay, so this flags back kind of the 13. It was a really big candle, so it's hard to do these steeper moves up. But in all reality, it can't get through the 13. Tries to get through it again, wicks through it, can't close through it, and here we go down again. So this wasn't, you could catch this here as well. So at this point, then you're looking, once this starts shifting back up, in each move there's less meat on the bone, right? So that's usually how it is as the farther we get down, the farther we're into the trend, a lot of times you'll see, because we're going to see a pullback at some point, you'd think. But there's still a good opportunity. You got your best move here, a little bit less, but still a good move here, and then there's just quick scalp here potentially. So this is what I was going to say. We differentiate. You could draw a trend line here that has several touches along the way. We could do something like that. Touches this wick, this candle here comes off that. Okay. You could even do one somewhere like this through these wicks here. I mean, just you could tighten this up a little bit. You get the gist of it, and try to catch a trend reversal here, or at least a bigger pullback. I wouldn't call it a reversal. But I want to play the trend, and so let's just let this pull back, see where it goes. And I mean, this is there's no trend reversal here. If you look, we're still in a downtrend. Let's see what that works at. Look, that's right at the 618. And that's right at our pre-market, our true pre-market low that I marked there. So there's a lot of strategies out there that you short at the 50 or 618, and that would have been an excellent move today. So even though your EMAs are flipped here, so you may not want to take this. You may be a little hesitant because of that. You got so much below you, the 200, 1348. So if you don't catch that off the 618, here's your next opportunity right here. You get a quick little flag, and I remember this one. Let me see volume today. Just had deleted volume. Let me add volume back. Is it just wrong? Yeah. Right here. Look at that. Look at that those tiny little candles there on volume. So that was an excellent indicator that that's a flag back, and this starts breaking through and getting down through the 48, so you can ride that down. Excellent move there as well. So you got your stops in place. You probably get stopped back up out somewhere in here. It doesn't make a full double bottom, and it starts reversing. So you kind of think higher higher low here. Maybe we do get a trend reversal this time out of this. So I don't know what this trend line looks like. Again, if we're talking trend lines, you potentially could have got faked out up here somewhere, or maybe a quick scalp. But one thing I did want to note, because at this point when we're coming down here and we flag back here, you're probably watching for a flag here. And you got this, it climbs up, it wicks to the 13, starts breaking down. This may have been a play that was a great setup that you may have just got stopped out on. And so a lot of that happens. Sometimes you can't control what happens in the market, so you can just enter in on good setups. And I would call this a good setup, but just didn't work out. So at this point, look at our EMAs. This is where you start getting, they're all bunched up. I'm not taking plays when they're like this. You're just asking for trouble. We've kind of got this range here that's like here. We've got these bottoms forming. There's really not a lot here to want to try and play right there. So let's see here as we continue to climb, and we kind of got back over this line here. Nothing crazy, but then there was this crazy drop here, right? And for a trend line here, this actually was not a bad trend line. You've got, these didn't really touch. You could probably move that up where they did. You could probably do something like that right there. That's the bottom of this body. There's a wick here. This drops through here. You'd have to ignore EMAs, but it's a strong trend line with a lot of touches, and it held, and then it's getting strong push down through it. You could have went short here and caught that, and that would have been a quick and fast, big move. One thing just to note, this is kind of funny. Trend lines don't just come into play for breaks a lot of times. You'll see price come back to it and use the other side of it a lot. So just keep that in mind and watch it. It's always interesting to see when that happens. So came back, and then at that quick reversal, there's almost no way to try to catch that unless you just play a long off this zone we have down here. Delete the fibs there. So at this point, you're probably looking long once you get up here, looking for a flag back. That was such a steep candle, I don't think you take it. That was such a steep candle, I don't think you want to take it. So you may be able to avoid going long here just because there wasn't a nice enough setup. And then you could have scalped if you're interested in like an end of day play off of this trend line breaking here and maybe getting up through EMAs for a quick little run up, but nothing crazy there. But all in all, your best moves were back here, right out of the morning open, and then this one a little bit in, and then if you were playing trend lines and could catch that one, that's a good one as well. So let's look at QQQ shortly. A little bit different today, but still somewhat similar. I've got the same thing marked here. It looks like that actually was our true low on QQQ, so this one looked a little better. But out of the gate, let's see how we're looking here. Yeah, that's kind of tough. You could draw. You don't love that there, but what happens here is QQQ gives us a couple candles in a row flip-flopping. There's not really a good entry there. It's really hard to get in anywhere here. And this comes up and taps the 48 and kind of closes below our pre-market low. You could try to scalp that, but unfortunately there was no real, just what I would consider an A+ entry on Qs this morning. And so then you get like this triple bottom here, and you're kind of just chasing if anything. If you look, there's just never a real fly. Like this one gets set back up to the 48, breaks down. There's just, everything was cut short. So if you're trying to play that, you were probably getting yourself in some trouble there. And look at this action here. It's like green, two little reds that basically march down. Same thing. And it just creates this little consolidation area. And it rips up through the 200. Maybe you're starting to look here for a, maybe you're starting to look long here, but again, you pull your fibs, And I wouldn't even probably look at that. I'd probably look more of where this downtrend really has. Not if we even went from the wick, you know, we could. I mean, we still, yeah. I mean, we haven't retraced. Yeah, I mean, it's okay, I guess, because you're back to. If you're just looking at your intraday high, you're here, so you're getting there here. So if you look at this and you tap the 13 on the way back, you could consider that, but this is such a big candle down, so I find it hard to play 13 retests off these big candles. You know, it almost retraced 3 full candles, and this is a pretty big candle here. So now you're kind of just looking. You know, if we go back to a trend line here, you could draw a trend line something like this here, and you got touch here, here, here. We see these a lot of times, these quick little V recoveries. We've been seeing these lately, it seems like, where it'll lose the EMAs and then just reclaim them really quick. So I could see here that you've reclaimed them with some strength here and got back up through them pretty quickly off of that pre-market low. And you're kind of wicking here. I could see an entry here. I see a valid point for an entry. I see a stop potential right here. You know, you're looking at something here, and let's see what the volume looked like too there. It was picking up a little, but it was still pretty low volume. So I could see you know, maybe take an entry here somewhere, and you may get a break even. You might, if you know, it shouldn't stop you at your full stop, but you should know to get out here. So it shouldn't be a big loss, if any. And then, you know, coming up to the pre-market high, we tap it here. I can see an entry here as well. Even with the pre-market high, you're hoping you just push through it there and don't, you know, because it's coming back to it so quick. Let's see what volume looks like there on this. You know, pretty low volume on that flag back, so I think that's a really good entry right there. We get some of these more sideways flags lately too, it seems like. You could figure a way to get in here at the 13 and consider that a flag back. And then lastly, I mean, you're still looking up here. I could see this one too. I mean, here we go. We're still pushing up. We're in our zone though. But hey, it held on the 13, held on the 13, starts pushing up. I can see there a little quick scalp move, potentially. So obviously the same move on Qs. Let's see what that trend line looks like here. This one actually may give you a better, man, yeah, this may give you a really nice trend line if you took it from this, maybe like here. Wow, yeah, look at that. And you really got this one through it, obviously. 2 touches, 3 touches, 4, I mean, all perfect wicks. So when that starts to go, and I mean, this would really get you in before this big candle too, because the 200 so far away. Then when we take the 13, we take the 48, we take the pre-market low. You can get in there and ride. That's a massive 2-minute candle, almost a full dollar 2-minute candle. So yeah, for a trend line play, this one actually lines up a little better for me because it gets through. The SPYs didn't get through all this that quick. It was kind of bunched up, so I definitely can see that one. And then you know, you might have got, well, you probably wouldn't have got stopped out, but you might have drawn something like that. Yeah, actually, that, you know, if you connect these 2 wicks and you say, let's just see what happens when price gets back to it, comes up to it, kind of flags back here, I think that's a really good entry opportunity to ride that up. So that's not bad, because you know, you have that quick recovery, gets it back up through all the EMAs. It's starting to kind of back test into that pre-market high, and your EMAs flip here. Yeah, that's a really nice move. So I could see that one. And then lastly, the same trend line with your own SPY. You could draw that and try to catch a quick end of day scalp if you wanted. But anyway, so all in all, I think there were some opportunities today. There was definitely some opportunities where you might have got stopped in a couple places, and I don't think they were bad moves. A lot of times we can find a mistake in some of those where we get stopped, but sometimes the market just has other ideas. And so yeah, I think there were some good moves, and hopefully this helped you kind of walk through and see in hindsight where you should be looking, and some potential spots that you might have missed, or maybe you caught them. It just kind of validates what you were seeing. So with that said, I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.